So we're contemplating the book of Life and Death in Tibetan Buddhism, written by Chagdud Rinpoche. It's a tiny little book full of wonderful wisdom, life-transforming wisdom. And at this point, we're contemplating the chapter on the two truths, relative truth and absolute truth. So we left off on page 15. That says to wake us up so that we can see the illusory quality of our relative reality and understand our foundational absolute nature is the goal of the Buddha Dharma, to wake us up. It's so amazing. There's one example that when parents see that their child is having a nightmare, they don't go there and like throw a bucket of cold water on the child or slap the child in the face. They very gently come to the child and say, wake up, it's just a nightmare, so that the child wakes up from the nightmare in a nice, gentle way. In the same way, the Buddhas, through the teachings, are very gently waking us up. This is a dream, this is a nightmare, wake up. That's what the Buddha Dharma is doing, is it's waking us up. Waking us up to what? To see the illusory quality of relative reality and wake up to our absolute nature. Otherwise, we just continue to dream. And our dreams can be pleasant or unpleasant, but it never stays the same. We are born, we get sick, we get old, we die. And we never awaken from the dream of confusion. A completely awakened state is enlightenment, the unwavering recognition of the absolute nature of our being. Absolute nature pervades everything and is separate from nothing. But we have gone so far out on a tangent, so far into mind's dualistic confusion, that we've lost sight of what is absolute. So we follow the tangent of relative truth and think that the absolute is somewhere else at some different time. We see separateness where there is none. We suffer in our experience of relative truth and in our longing for an unchanged, deathless state of absolute truth. One time the Buddha was walking down the road, and he must have been an incredibly impressive figure. They said he was surrounded by an aura of light, and he was beautiful to behold. And some people stopped him and they said, excuse me, sir, what are you? Are you a god? Are you a powerful demon? Are you some sort of celestial being? And the Buddha replied, no, I am simply awake. I'm simply awake. In fact, the actual word Buddha means the awoken one. He or she who is awake. And not in some politically correct sense, but truly awake, completely awoken from this confused experience that we have. This manifestation doesn't need to change. All that needs to change is our relationship to this manifestation, to see things as they actually are, which is the absolute truth. We find the absolute truth within the relative truth. We don't need to look somewhere else. But we can't get entangled in the relative truth while we do it. Otherwise, we're right back where we started. But the relative truth is an opportunity for us to wake up. It's nothing to be avoided or ignored or denied. It's right there in front of our faces. Every sound, every movement, every thought, all an opportunity to wake up. by penetrating into the truth of those things, that they appear, but they don't have any inherent existence. Forms appear, sounds arise, thoughts manifest, but all of them inseparable from the absolute nature of emptiness. In a spiritual sense, it is not very effective to attempt to change the outside world in order to prevent our own suffering. For example, if we glance into a mirror and see a dirty face, we might think, "Oh, what a dirty face." Then we quickly grab a cloth and scrub the mirror. But this is not the correct way to get rid of the dirty face we see. Once we realize that the reflection is our own face, we can change the appearance in the mirror by simply washing our face. It will not work to wash away the suffering of our circumstances. But by recognizing our mind as the original cause, we can change ourselves. Rinpoche also used to give the example of if we live in a world that's covered in broken glass and nails and barbed wire, which is more effective, to try to cover the world in leather or to make shoes? By recognizing the absolute nature, we have outfitted ourselves with the necessary shoes to go around this world that's so prickly and sharp and dangerous. With that awareness of the absolute nature, we're protected. Protected from the afflictive emotions and confused thoughts that arise by our distorted perception of reality as relative truth. When we perceive things as they truly are, we let go. And letting go, we're protected. Protected from attachment and aversion and all of the thousands of forms of suffering that arise from those two forms of ignorance. It doesn't work to cover the world in leather. It doesn't work to wash away the suffering of our circumstances. But by recognizing our mind as the original cause, we can change ourselves and change our suffering. They say that regular people see the world like looking through a window. Practitioners, meditators, see the world like looking into a mirror. Everything we see is an opportunity to see the mind. Everything that we perceive is the mind. And everything is the opportunity to awaken to absolute truth. In this way, there's really no difference between relative truth and absolute truth. It's just penetrating to the essence. People see things in different ways. People see things in different ways. For instance, one person may eat chili and love it. They might love it so much that if they were deprived of it, there would be little left that's worth eating. But another person may eat chili and choke in pain. The substance itself is no different. What is different are the habitual tendencies of perception, experience, and reaction. So it is with every aspect of life. One person sees things in a certain way, and another person sees the same thing in an altogether different way. One person may be considered to be wonderful by his friends and may be hated by others. Yet this person is no different. The person is simply who they are. Substance is simply substance. The world is simply the world. But we perceive and interact with it according to our own level of understanding based on our individual karma. This makes me think about politics. One person sees Biden as a bodhisattva. Another person sees Biden and hates him, thinks that he's a communist and a socialist. It's the same person. What's different is the perception. Some people are sure that the left-wing philosophy is the way to happiness. Some people are sure that the right-wing philosophy is the way to happiness. People on both sides are equally intelligent. People on both sides have read the same number of books, have written the same number of treatises, have studied the same amount of history. But one, due to their karmic understanding, has come to one conclusion. And the other, due to their karmic understanding, has come to a different conclusion. Are they both wrong? Are they both right? How do we know? How can such intelligent people be so diametrically opposed? It's because ultimately it's all the mind. It's all the projection of the mind. It's important that we sift through the fine details of life and we make decisions, such as who we're going to vote for. But at the same time, we have to have the wisdom to step back from ourselves and realize that this is only our own karmic perception. There's nothing there that we can really grab onto with such a certainty to say, I know absolutely that I'm right and the others are wrong. Because it's really all the mind and our karmic perceptions. So we need to see other people and ourselves in the same. We're trying our best, but ultimately all of us are confused. And systems are only as good as the people that are contained within those systems. If you have a country of truly awakened, enlightened, loving, compassionate people, doesn't matter what system you apply, it's going to be very successful. You probably don't even need a system. On the other hand, if you have a country of corrupt, selfish, self-serving, criminal-minded people, it doesn't matter how wonderful the system is, how pure the theory is, it's not going to work. Really, instead of worrying about which political system is in place, we should worry about training our own mind and helping others have access to the same methods to train their minds. If we really want to change society, the only true way we can change society is by changing our own mind. Each one of us at a time. And part of the process of training our own mind is to be patient with each other, to be loving with each other, and to be tolerant of our differences. If we don't think the same, we don't have to cancel each other. We don't have to hate each other. We don't have to censor each other. We have to find our way back to dialogue, tolerance, understanding, mutual respect. We've gotten so far away from that. And it's a dangerous path. It's a very dangerous path. And it's difficult to walk back from it. In fact, I don't know if modern society will be able to walk back from it. It's going to be a long process. But at least we can do our part by changing our minds, by identifying more with the absolute nature, the Buddha nature, than the confused relative appearances.